my want, and I've got clocks all over the place. One there, one there.
Emails.
Okay. And I got clocks everywhere, and yet I go and I go and get distracted and don't start on time. But here we go. So I sent out an email just now, and I sent one out in the middle of the night. And as you can tell by my subject line, I'm starting to understand the webinar core message much better, because it's really about helping you to find hidden assets in your company. And I'm going to go through, I'm trying to limit it, but probably about a dozen or two case studies. Some are short, some are longer, about how we leveraged stuff that the client hadn't thought about, that they were blind to, and everybody is. And that's one of the challenges in life. We're going to talk about that in copywriting just in a minute. So, it's 2 o'clock this afternoon. You need to go to wdma.org. You probably have an email in your inbox from me, or you can go on LinkedIn and you can check my posts. You can also go to the WDMA, which I think best if you type Wisconsin DMA or Wisconsin Direct Marketing Association. Search for it. If you're not in the group, you should join, but there's a link in there, and that will help you find it. And then we're sending out the Zoom link. We're going to use Zoom. It's not going to be broadcast widely. It's going to be a private showing because it is a little bit, there's some stories that haven't been shared, and good stories. I think you'll enjoy the stories, but I think it'll trigger you to look around your company, especially if things are, heading a little rocky and rough. That's when I've had the most impact, is in rough times, not when things are smooth sailing. Anybody can learn to sail in the smooth, calm days. It's the thunderstorms that make you wish you had someone on board. Anyway, so now let's get over to the rest of the story. Here, let's go here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the WDMA, bringing you hidden stories every day. And here comes one. I always try to find stuff you won't find anywhere else. And boy, is this one. So what it says underneath in the read more in the description of the video, it says, we worked with Keaton Patty to make a bot watch over 400,000 hours of stand-up comedy, then write its own in-your-face special. Here's the best it could do. And since one of the experts we're going to hear from says, get help from AI, but I'm not sure how you train it. Here we go.
To the stage, a comedian. He will not be performing at Netflix as a joke fest.
Firstly of all, I am sorry that I am not sorry. Actually, I am not sorry that I am not sorry. I have never not been not sorry. If that offends, I think you shall leaves.
Leaves. He turns to leaves.
Internet mad at me. Well, I'm mad at internet. I accept cookies, but receive no pastry treats. Web is so fat. It is worldwide. Maybe put away cookies and eat cyber salad.
Comedian eats
My
a cigarette.
kid's so stupid needy. They want me change its diaper every day. Well, I want it to change its address. Stop sleeping in my crib. I am no sugar daddy. I am corn syrup grandpa.
Hey, not good. We are personal computer police. You cannot say those word crimes. Get in cancel.
Before you angry, I am allowed to say that. My father is corn syrup and my mother is grandpa.
Hello.
It's kind of funny. Okay, and so he's right. We can't put him in the can cell. Oh, jeez. Okay, feel free to comment if you're watching. I don't get to see how many people are watching, and so I just pretend that there's crowds of millions every day. let's get over to something more substantial. Okay. 15 pro copy tips from Forbes. 15 pro tricks for removing fluff in marketing and sales copy. So, it says one of the most important parts of writing solid, effective copy is self-editing. I think that's probably right. But then it goes on to say, and listen carefully, refining a good piece of writing by eliminating fluff can elevate it, turning it into a great piece of content that not only achieves its original intention, but can also be repurposed across many types of media for digital marketing, sales, and other purposes. So I ran that through, I think it's called Copyrightly. And, or one, it's one of these things that tells you what reading level. It had 53 errors in that one sentence. It says 53. It puts it in the deep red category. But there are actually no grammar errors. There weren't any of those, unless you count run-on sentence. It's way in the high level reading comprehension to try to even understand that sentence. Let's go on. Okay. So the first point is keep it keep it short and simple, which of course and I couldn't identify the writer of this piece, so I don't feel too bad about marking it up. So that first sentence, we could cut that into 3 sentences. There's 3 clearly distinct thoughts there that write short, effective copy, and you can repurpose it in other media is at least 2 of the main ones. But so here's keep it short and simple. Now look at the sentence here. While there are exceptions, most compelling copy is easy to read, period. Here we go. That means avoiding run-on sentences, using accessible language, and making paragraphs dynamic. Again, 3 thoughts in one sentence. And, just for fun, I said, well, how could we clear this up? You could just say the most compelling copy is easy to read, period. Avoid run-on sentences, period. Use accessible language and make paragraphs dynamic. Isn't that more clear? Wouldn't you say? Okay, we'll go on. Ask someone outside your industry to read it. Excellent point, right? This is a little better written. If they cannot understand it, use their feedback to make it more clear. To make it more clear. Question, then period. Question whether or not you need to use certain industries' terms. Start with, what do we offer? What do we want you to do? Okay, excellent. But again, I think this was an interview, and I think that the writer of this took the way people talk and transcribed it, and I think that's why it has these complex thoughts. It's very difficult when you're speaking to shorten it up, but in copywriting you should be able to. Write what you want the audience to pass along to others. Excellent. Ask yourself what you want your customer audience to tell the next person. Make it a story that the listener, viewer, reader can pass along. Excellent. We call it highly targeted stories. Combine, this one I thought was funny, combine expertise with AI copy tools. Now, I've never used those, but, here's a link, Jasper AI and Copy AI. The show notes are always available, wdma.org, in the member area. Every day I put up the articles that I've marked up with my marks, okay? And AI can help spark ideas or just simply rewrite my fluff, says Denny. Now, again, I don't know how those are trained. I haven't used them much, but I know. But the reason I put the bot comedy skit up there is because it obviously didn't make sense, and so I wouldn't publish the AI copy as is. You're still going to have to work on it. Write only what solves the reader's problem. Now, of course, that assumes you know the reader's problem, but think of Apollo 13. What did they have to work with? And what did they need to survive? Okay? What do your customers need to thrive and survive? Give them only that. And again, it presupposes a great understanding of your customer, which few of us have, right? Because we're too close to our own products. Okay, use active versus passive voice. Amen. I was in graduate school in philosophy, and when one is in philosophy, one learns to never explain your main point until you've sufficiently qualified endlessly your extraneous thoughts. That would be a sentence in a philosophy paper, something like that. Passive voice, one might, one would, okay, ought, one could, should, and always passive voice, always. And so that great illustration, right? Schedule an appointment or versus an appointment can be scheduled. And what's funny is that so much of these tips are in passive voice. Okay, I have to say. Okay, treat the customer as a hero. Focus on benefits. You don't really want a drill. You want a nice, clean hole. So, and there's a lot of ways to get a hole. 38 revolver. Won't be a real clean hole, but it might put them just where you want it. Okay? Depends on where you want the hole. If you want the hole 10 yards downrange, a good 223 be better than a drill, right? Doesn't necessarily take a drill. So, after you've written copy, reread the copy and ask, so what? Why would someone care? Excellent questions. Okay? Always come back to your single-minded thought. And I would like to get rid of that and say, what is a single-minded thought? I didn't understand this one at all because it talked about what is our single-minded thought? We call it our global positioning system because it's the North Star. It's just too many metaphors. And if any word doesn't ladder back up to the GPS, no idea. I've never heard that expression before, so it must be ad agency jargon. Anyway, I'll skip that one. Write your first draft as if you're a caveman. Or you could have said, write like a caveman. Or maybe think about how you would say it in a second language. Or how would you express it if you were talking with someone who only spoke English as a second language? Again, subordinate clauses in the beginning of a sentence, not so great. This forces you to cut superfluous text and substantially simplify your message. It'll also help you think through writing in a different way, which leads to stronger, more creative writing overall. Again, long sentence, too complicated. Use verbiage. There's a 50-cent word that is familiar to your audience. And so I helped with this sentence. Industry jargon can get repetitive and overcomplicate your messaging. Just say, industry jargon gets repetitive and overcomplicates your message. Put yourself in your audience's shoes. You'll understand what they want to know and how to address it in a clear, concise, solution-oriented manner. And again, I would get rid of some of those words. But you can take out half the words there. Okay? Get all the words down on paper, then make cuts. So I wrote, identify where to trim, read what you have written aloud. This will ensure you leave the most actionable content for your reader to enjoy. Actionable. Okay? But then here's the opposite tip. Start by writing in a bullet point format. Aim for an 8th grade reading level. Here's another long run-on sentence. Marketers like to provide a lot of context and background information, period. Which makes sentences long and fluffy, I'd say, but less punchy. Is that even a term? Okay, so I agree with starting with an outline, starting with a card deck, and get the key points down. Try having kids read your copy and cutting adverbs. Have them read your copy right there. Have kids read your copy. See again, having infinitives instead, or even better, let kids read your copy. And cut adverbs. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Those adverbs may sound nice, but they are the trait of lazy, cluttered writing. Watch your adjectives and your adverbs, passive voice, subordinate clauses to begin with, and even prepositional phrases to begin. Not so good, not strong. Read it out loud. This is really well done here, this one. Read it out loud as if you're having a conversation with someone. If it doesn't sound natural, clear, and compelling, then you've got more editing ahead of you. So Katie, well said, right? And that brings us over to Craig Huey, and he says, direct response power copy tip. What is your value proposition? I think this is sort of the North Star. You must clearly and concisely present your value proposition. Most people think the value proposition is the offer, but value proposition is slightly different and critical. Okay? So it's not just your price, your discount, your guarantee, or your premium. It's that and the perception of your product, service, and company, and direct or indirect competition by your prospects and customers. It's based on perceived needs. Other people, print your photos from your phone. The other guys use cheap paper that'll fade with time. We use the highest quality paper. Or, as I talked about the other day, cars. The Shell Answer Man talked about their gasoline and the special ingredients that it had to keep your car running well. Everybody else had them too, but they hadn't mentioned them. Okay, so your value proposition is based on perceived needs by your prospect, need to keep your car running well, and how well you can fill it. It's your complete presentation of value, considering all impacts on decision making by your prospect. Is your value proposition impactful, clear, and exciting? Dove creams your face while you wash. I highly recommend Confessions of an Ad Man by David Ogilvy. It's excellent. Ask yourself if you're representing your complete value proposition from your prospect's perspective, not your perspective. And so thanks for that, Craig. Some great copywriting tools. As always, I have another great article, D-mail versus email. Tomorrow, probably. We'll see. Have a great day. Like and share. Your friends will know you're smart. Bye-bye.